Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone.
Hello and happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome in. This is Sports by the Book. We are live from the South Point Hotel and Casino, live 5 days a week where we cover as many sports as we can. Good to hear from you already in the chat. Love it. Attila jumped in, said it was a good day for him betting-wise, following our advice. And it's good to be in the green, Attila. That is the New Year's resolution. We're going to try and stay there as much as we can. I'm Alex White alongside Ryan McCormick. We'll be with you for the next hour, breaking down all of these playoff games. Wild card weekend coming up. Matt Neverett will join us on this Tuesday, as he always does on Tuesdays, to help us look at this slate we have. It's a great slate for the weekend in the National Football League. Ryan and I will also break down some hockey and college basketball as we do. Before we get to all of that, Ryan, at the end of the show, I told everybody to tune into the FCS game because it was going to be some great football, and didn't look like it at the first half, right? But, man, it was a great second half and hard-fought game there. Montana State ends up getting the win by 1. And I heard on the broadcast, so it was their second national championship. But overall, I'd love to take a second to talk about the FCS because what a fantastic year and a great playoffs that we've had from them.
Yeah. You talked about the first half, 21-7 at halftime. Looked like Montana State was going to kind of run things. And then the fourth quarter started, and the Redbirds started to get hot and get active, and ended up almost winning it with a field goal. Got blocked, and then Montana State was given, I think, just over 50 seconds to try and get a field goal of their own to win it in regulation, and then took a really bad sack. Ended up having to punt, forced overtime, and then the Redbirds got the ball first, scored a touchdown, had their extra point blocked. And then Montana State just needed a touchdown to get it done, and it didn't get done until fourth and 10, throw it to the end zone. And yeah, Montana State ends up being victorious in the FCS national championship. But Illinois State did end up covering the 10.5. Again, it didn't look close in the first half, but looked real safe once we got into the fourth quarter. And then the game also goes over the total, which worked its way up and closed here at South Point at 58. But yeah, managed to go over there. So Illinois State covers and the over hits.
You mentioned it. Montana State didn't get it done till that fourth down, and you could just feel the pressure. You could feel that game slipping away from them, right? But Justin Lamson really stepped up in the big moment there. So I was very happy for the Bobcats to get it done. They were 10-point favorite in that game, but Illinois State, they showed a lot of fight, never gave up in that one. And it reminded me a little bit of Sunday, right? The kicking problems that ultimately decided the game.
Yeah, and you kind of saw when they had their field goal blocked in regulation that the quarterback and the team really thought that they should have gone for it. It was a 4th and 1. And yeah, the offense looked unstoppable in that fourth quarter, so could have gone for it, gotten closer, ran out the clock ultimately and kicked a field goal as it expired. But yeah, it ultimately ended up not working out in the Redbirds' favor, and they lose the national championship.
Curious how that one did play out for the books. I saw a lot of people like the points, but never really moved too much from the side. But I know a lot of people did like the over for the full game. Never been so happy to have a first half under. And sometimes that can work out for you. It's just kind of lucky, right? Sometimes you get that fast start, but thought there might be a filling out process there between the two. But you want to run down the rest of the day and what it looked like from hockey standpoint and anything else that we might have for trends.
Yeah, I really only have the NHL numbers from yesterday. It was a busy night and busy morning. So favorites in the NHL, 2 and 3 straight up. 4 puck lines were covered, 3 of which were reverse, and totals went 4 and 1. Did go 2 and 1 on the whiteboard. The Minnesota Wild did not get it done. They ultimately end up giving up a reverse puck line to the Kings, who win their first consecutive game in over a month. And we'll kind of talk about that a little bit more today with a couple teams there. The Avalanche haven't lost consecutive games since October,
Ooh.
but yeah, we got to pick them there in that one tonight between the Avalanche and Lightning. But yeah, in the NHL last night, 2 and 3 straight up were the favorites, 4 puck lines, and totals were 4 and 1 to the over.
I'm glad Attila jumped in with the puck line for the Caps, but they did exactly what we were afraid of, right? They had a nice 5-1 lead, I believe, let them come back into the game 5-4, and then a couple of empty netters there for the Caps. So did get there for the puck line, but I was watching that third period very closely to see how that played out. Thought maybe Anaheim had a shot, but some good empty netters there to get the puck line if anybody else did end up taking that. All right. So you mentioned the game tonight. I am looking forward to that. That should be a great matchup between those two. Is there any other hockey that jumped out to you that just from a watching standpoint that intrigued you on the slate tonight?
Well, something's going to have to give in the Knights and Winnipeg Jets game tonight. The Knights have lost 5 straight, and the Jets have lost 9 straight. So there are no ties in hockey. One team will lose, continue their losing streak, and hopefully the Knights are the ones to get the victory there. But yeah, that was really the one thing that kind of stood out to me is that both teams really, really struggling, and we have those 2 games I just mentioned are pick 'em prices. Normally they would not be.
Winnipeg now lost 9 in a row. VGK has lost 5. Thought that was going to be a play on the over 5.5, but unless you were out of the state of Nevada, can no longer get that. So basically 6 everywhere. But did think that we could get at least 6 goals in this matchup. Both, to your point, both of them really playing hard, trying to get out of that losing column. So that should be an intriguing one, definitely. And you brought up Colorado. We'll get to that one. Colorado-Tampa Bay should be a great one. Dallas-Carolina is pretty intriguing. So a lot of good matchups here. Florida and Toronto could even be a good one. So we'll get to those shortly after we do go through our wild card breakdowns and talk a little bit of college basketball. Should we take a quick break, check in, see how our good friend Matt Never is doing? He is calling a basketball game tonight in Wyoming, UNLV versus the Cowboys. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. We're going to check in, make sure that he's good to go. If not, we will start and go ahead and get started with our wild card weekend breakdowns. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on Sports by the Book.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside. South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world.
And we are back here live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. Sports by the Book. Ryan McCormick, I'm Alex White. Happy to be with you. We're going to switch it over a little bit. We'll go hockey first. Matt Neverett will be with us shortly, probably 5 to 10 minutes. So, Ryan, that kind of works out too because we've got a poll question live. We'd love to hear from all of our regulars who are watching us live.
That we do. Matt was headed to the arena for shoot-around. So like our poll, he had to make a U-turn to get here for us. So U-turn Tuesday. Which NHL team can turn their losing streak around on the road today? We gave you 3 options of plus prices here at the South Point. Ducks plus 125 at the Philadelphia Flyers, who are Ducks have lost 6 straight games. The Canucks, who have lost 3 straight on the road in Buffalo, taking on the Sabres, getting plus 150 here at the South Point. And the Stars, who have also lost 5 straight, getting plus 115 here at the South Point. They're on the road in Raleigh, taking on the Hurricanes. So go ahead and let us know your thoughts there by voting in the poll. Give us a comment in the live chat if you guys want to shout out what your thoughts are. But with that, yeah, we'll start breaking down the NHL slate.
Perfect. I'm going to put mine in right now.
We'll start with the first game in rotation number order. And we have the Colorado Avalanche coming off a loss to the Florida Panthers on the road, taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning, who have won 7 straight games. The Avalanche are a minus 115 favorite here at the South Point, minus 105 for the Lightning. Total is 6.5 with juice to the under.
Ryan, it sounded like you might like Colorado here, but they have not lost 2 in a row. My only worry is Tampa Bay now on a 7-game winning streak, so feeling really good themselves. I think that number's just right. I'm not going to get involved with the side, but I'm going to go under that 6.5 because, I mean, just the way Scott Wedgwood and Vasilevsky have been playing. Wedgwood, 217 goals against and a .917 save percentage. And then Vasilevsky, 16-7-2 on the year, 2.32 goals against average, and a .912 save percentage. So I know both these teams can score, but I think it's going to be a hard-fought battle here. Colorado trying to get back in the win column, and Tampa Bay trying to keep that win streak alive. So under 6.5 for me. What are you going with?
Yeah, the Lightning, you mentioned, are on a 7-game win streak. It ties their longest win streak of the season. The last time they did so, they ended up losing 4 consecutive games after that. So will they get and set this mark, the new mark for their longest win streak of the year? That is yet to be known. But it is the second of 4 home games for the Lightning in the entire month of January. They only have 4 home games the entire month of January. They will not be at home again until January 20th, in which they face the Sharks at home. They just got home off of a California road trip, which they won 3 straight against the Kings, Ducks, and Sharks. but now have a 5-game road trip on deck. But that doesn't start until Saturday. So they have all their focus here on the Avalanche because they know what kind of task that is. But the Avalanche have not lost consecutive games since the end of October, in which they lost 4 straight, 3 of which were in overtime. They just suffered their 3rd loss of the entire season in regulation. They are now 31-10 on the money line. But this is the last of a road trip for the Avalanche before they get 7 straight games at home. They also, in similar fashion to the Lightning, will not be on the road for them until January 25th, when they start a Canadian plus Detroit road trip with the Maple Leafs on the 25th. So this is the lowest price you're going to get on the Avalanche probably all year. So I have no problem taking a chance with them only having to lay 115. There is a 111 in the market, a 108 in the market as well, so laying less big there. But yeah, taking a shot. I get the Lightning are on the win streak, but the best team in the NHL, you're not going to see them at this short of a price again this year. So taking a shot, 115 there on the Avalanche.
Cannot fault you. It's a great point. You really probably will not get a price this good. That's interesting about Tampa Bay. Now I'm going to keep an eye on them to see if they stack up a couple losses. They probably had a really nice home schedule in the month of December where they were stacking up all these wins. So we'll see how they do on the road moving forward. Not too many home games for this next month.
All right, going to Philly, where the Ducks in our poll are looking to end their 6-game losing streak, getting plus 125 on the buyback against the Flyers. The Flyers laying minus 145 at home. Total is 6 with a juice to the over.
Honestly, I'd have to stay away from this one to get off of that losing streak, playing on back-to-back nights. We just saw him against the Caps last night, and Dan Vladar is playing really good for the Flyers. I think they could get this win. I think that's a pretty cheap price for them at home. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to bet it, but just comparing the two goalies, and Vladar right now, 2.39 goals against average and a 9.10 save percentage. So that's the side I like. That's the side I would be betting, if anything.
The Flyers are coming back home off of a 5-game road trip. They now have 4 straight at home. They get the Lightning twice back-to-back at home at the end of this homestand. So knowing that they have the Ducks and Maple Leafs in front of them before the Lightning, granted, these guys aren't looking that far ahead. They're one to play a game at a time. But I would be much more inclined to laying the 1.5 with the Flyers, getting plus 175 there. But not an official play yet. We'll see if I can convince myself there of fading the Ducks as we get later in the day. But we'll go up to Buffalo, where the Vancouver Canucks are looking to kind of stop the the streak that the Sabres have been on. They're very hot hockey that they've been playing. But the Sabres are a minus 170 favorite at home, plus 150 on the buyback for the Canucks. Total is 6 with a 115 to the over.
I've got nothing here. I really don't like the way the Canucks have been playing for the last month or so. So it would be a look to Buffalo. I mean, these two are kind of going in opposite directions, right? The Sabres were on a crazy win streak. And, I mean, they won 4 of their last home games, too, coming into this one. But nothing jumped out. I think side and total are just right. Makes me a little nervous to lay that much with this Buffalo team. Let's do this last tough or good matchup here between the Stars and the Canes. Then we'll bring Matt in, switch it back over to some football, and then come back to hockey again.
Okay, so we're going with Dallas Stars on the road in Carolina, taking on the Hurricanes. Minus 135 are the Hurricanes, plus with 115 on the buyback for the Stars, and total is 6 with a 120 to the over.
These two their numbers are so crazy because if you look at their goalies, of course, Jake Ottinger, one of the best, and then Brandon Bussy's been really good whenever Frederik Andersen has been out. He's been great for Carolina, 2.25 goals against and 9.05 save percentage, and Ottinger right there, almost exactly the same, but a 2.62 goals against. But their median numbers, the Stars, 3 goals for, 3 goals against on the road. Canes, 4 goals for and 3 goals against. So giving up goals at home. We're seeing a 6 there. It's a tough game to handicap, right? You want to trust the goalies, think this is going to be more of a playoff feel. But, I mean, the median numbers say that we're going to get goals from both sides here, and we're seeing a 6. I've got nothing. Ryan, I'd be a lean to the Stars at getting a plus price, but Nothing definite.
Yeah, with the Stars losing now 5 straight, and the Canes not playing as well as they have in previous. Yeah, this one will ultimately end up being a stay away, but it should be a very good game to watch. Stars 13, 3-5, 3-8 on the money line on the road, and the Hurricanes 13, 8-1 at home, 13-9 on the money line at home. So should be a very tight matchup. Wouldn't fault you, but don't want to lay the minus 210 to get the goal and a half there with the Stars. But I do ultimately think it'll be a close game.
I do too. And these will be 2 playoff teams come April. So good one to look out for. All right, we're going to take another break. Thank you, everybody who's watching us live and hanging around with us. We'll check in with the chat here soon, too. But let's bring Matt Neverett on in just a minute here on Sports by the Book.
Looking to bet smarter? Get sports betting insight and winning picks straight from the South Point Hotel and Casino.
I think we're going to get goals from both sides here. Give me over 5.5.
That is also one of my favorite plays of the weekend is the Colts -3 on the road.
So you're getting plus 130 here.
I mean, how can you go against Tusky?
Exactly.
Join Sports by the Book at 10 a.m. Pacific and bet your winning edge.
Here we go. It is our NFL portion of the show. We've got 6 wild card games scheduled for the weekend, 2 Saturday, 3 Sunday, and then we finish it off with a Monday night game between the Texans and the Steelers. Looking forward to all 6 of these games. I'm Alex White. This is Sports by the Book, bringing in our 2 specialists here so we can break down this game. We've got Ryan McCormick, as always, on Sports by the Book, host/producer. And then we have Matt Neverett, our Tuesday guest. He does it all. Voice of the Rebels, football and basketball, voice of the Las Vegas Aviators. Matt, I see you're in a hotel room because you're always traveling, you're always working. Where are you now, and what do you got tonight?
I'm in scenic and chilly Laramie, Wyoming. It is currently 36 degrees and windy outside. UNLV takes on Wyoming later tonight in basketball on the hardwood, but I'm here excited for the NFL. I've got a college basketball play for you as well. It wouldn't be a Tuesday if I didn't have either of those things, right?
We're looking forward to it. I did remember these 2 split last year, UNLV and Wyoming, home, sweet home, right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and it's an interesting team. Wyoming second-year head coach Sundance Wicks, one of the best names in all of college basketball. I really like him personally, and I think this is kind of a program on the rise. It can be hard to recruit to a place like this, but he's doing a good job here so far.
Definitely be hard to recruit there. But we'll check in. We'll keep it going with Mountain West later on as we get a little bit closer and some more conference games under our belt. But looking ahead, because NFL, it is set. We've got our playoff bracket here. We're going to start off with the first game on Saturday, the Rams and the Panthers. We saw this upset, exact same line. The Rams were a 10-point favorite on the road, and Panthers found a way to win that one outright, total 46.5. Matt, I'll start with you. Anything you like in this one, side or total?
Well, I remember yesterday on the show, the poll had that game as one of the options for the one to go over. And in my mind, I think that's the one, if any, that goes over. The Panthers' defense is good, not great. And these are 2 offenses that are really rolling at this time of year, especially Matt Stafford, making that late push for MVP there at the end of the regular season. I like the Rams. I don't think that the Panthers are a good enough team to upset them twice. I don't think Matt Stafford and Sean McVay allow that to happen twice. It's a big number. I think this one's a classic win but not cover. If I had to put something on to right now, this one is tough. It is. I think this is a classic playoff tease leg, if there is such a thing. But I like the Rams to win. I don't know if they win this game by double digits.
I think you brought up a lot of good points there, and the fact that kind of overlooked them the first time, right? And now you have one of the best coaches in Sean McVay that's going to have his team very focused. And Ryan, a lot had to go right for Carolina, including turnovers by Matthew Stafford for them to win that first matchup.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford throws 2 interceptions, one of which was a pick 6, and then the fumble on their final drive of the game, which strip sack and ultimately ended up confirming the win for the Panthers. But yeah, looking at that first matchup, Carolina did win 31-28. Matthew Stafford turned the ball over 3 different times, but Carolina led time of possession by over 10 minutes. They killed 13 minutes of the third quarter. So if they're able, they need to be able to do the same to keep that Rams offense, that prolific Rams offense off the field. You're kind of looking at the Rams drives in that game. I'll look at the Panthers as well, but the Rams drives went touchdown, interception, pick 6, touchdown, kneel to end the half, a 3-and-out, out of half punt, and then a touchdown, and then the strip sack to kind of close the game for their offense. The Panthers went touchdown, 3-and-out, punt, field goal, punt, touchdown, and then were able to run out the clock to end the game. I do think the Rams defense is going to do enough Bryce Young had a 3-touchdown, no interception game. They held Ted McMillan to only 1 catch for 43 yards and a touchdown. So the Rams defense will be able to do enough in this game, shutting down that Panthers offense, and that Rams offense is going to be very, very hungry. I do anticipate they'll be able to score as many touchdowns as they did in the first matchup and not turn the ball over as much as they did in that first matchup. So, definitely going to be looking at the Rams over their team total. Probably the safest way to play it because I, as well as Matt, don't trust them to necessarily cover the double digits.
Well, it's a big number here as well. And the other thing you got to consider, guys, the Panthers this year have 8 losses. They've covered the spread all 8 times in their next game. So they lost the last, or they lost the last one, or won the last one. But I just don't know. Like they're a weird team to predict. They cover games that they're not supposed to cover. They win games they're not supposed to win. I think the Rams are a better team despite the lower seed. But I just see the Rams, when push comes to shove, they are a better coach team with a better quarterback. I think that matters this time of year. So yeah, give me LA, the only LA team that I think that moves on out of this round.
Ooh, that was a tease right there. It sounds like we all do like points in this one. I agree with you guys. I do think we're going to get points from both sides. The interesting thing is Ryan brought up that third quarter where Carolina trying to keep the Rams offense off the field, and they can do that. They run the ball the 10th most in the league, and they're pretty efficient at it. The Rams on the other side are going to be passing like crazy, where they do pass the 13th most in the league. First matchup, pretty successful on the ground for Carolina, 164 rushing yards in that one. They really went toe-to-toe with them. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. Just need a couple, maybe a touchdown and a couple field goals there to help us get over that total. I think the Rams will do the rest. I do like that angle too, Ryan, looking at the Rams team total going over that one. And it is, I'm not laying that many points with the road team in the playoffs. It would be Panthers or nothing for me if I was looking at the side.
Exactly,
Ryan had one more point on this too.
Yeah, I did have a couple of trends here, and I like to bring in the all-time matchups between the two. So Panthers lead 14-10 all-time. They've won the only playoff meeting so far in these two teams' history. This is the second, obviously. But if the Rams win this matchup, it would be the first time that they did not lose consecutive games to the Panthers in 30 years, really the entire time that they've been playing. The Panthers have existed. So if the Rams lose one, they have lost at least one more before getting a win back against the Panthers. But to trends that actually matter for this season, revenge trend going back 25 matchups, teams suffering the most recent loss in the regular season. This will also apply to the Packers and Bears game, but 16-9 straight up. So that's good for the Rams there. 16-9 coming off the loss. And then playoff experience with quarterbacks. A quarterback that has playoff experience versus a quarterback that does not have playoff experience. 39-20 against the spread in the last 20 years. Another one good there for the Rams. Teams that were in the playoffs a year prior versus a team that was not in the playoffs the year before. 33-16-1 against the spread. Another trend there, good for the Rams. And the only trend that is good for the Panthers that I found would be dome teams having to play outdoors in the playoffs. 21 and 30 against the spread are the dome teams to going outdoors. So 30 and 21 are the outdoor teams getting to host an indoor team. So that would be good there for the Panthers.
Interesting. I would rather look at that more than the West Coast going to the East Coast. I think that could actually play in, and that trend is pretty legitimate there for those dome teams. Remember that teams that were in the playoffs last year against teams that were not. We've got other matchups that definitely fit that. Anything else to put a bow on this one between the Rams and the Panthers from either of you two?
I'm all good.
No, I think a lot of points. I think the Rams win, but don't cover, but don't hold me to it.
All right, let's go to the next one here. I'm going to let Ryan set the stage here because we've got a division matchup. Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears. Here at the South Point, the Bears are a 1-point favorite. Total 46. These lines are so tight. I made this game a pick'em and 45.5. So, Ryan, we just saw this matchup twice. You want to start there?
Sure. Yeah. Third meeting of the year for the Green Bay Packers and Chicago Bears. It will be the third time that they meet in their franchise's history in the postseason. Most recent one was in 2010 season, in which it was the NFC Championship game. The Packers won because Chris Conte is terrible. And then back in 1941, the Chicago Bears were able to win that one, but none of us were able to watch that. So, but yeah, third meeting in 6 weeks. Third meeting in 6 weeks for these teams. Looking back at the first matchup, the Packers won 28-21. Both of the games had a 0-0 first quarter, but that first matchup headed into halftime at 14-3 for Green Bay. Third quarter was 21-14 Green Bay, and the fourth quarter game ended 28-21. The Bears led the time of possession in that game by almost 7 minutes. The Bears went 8 of 16 on third down, only 50%. 1 of 2 on fourth down, only 50%. And 2 of 4 in the red zone, only 50%. The Packers went 8 of 12 on third down, 75%. They did not have to attempt a fourth down conversion, and they scored 3 times from outside the red zone. This Bears defense is 100% boom or bust. They either force turnovers or are able to scrunch the field down and hold against you in the red zone. But the Packers did not, or were able to get the big plays in that first meeting. In the second meeting, the Bears ended up winning in overtime, 22-16. Like I had mentioned, 0-0 at the end of the first quarter. Halftime was 6-0 Green Bay. Third quarter was 13-3 Green Bay, and then tied at 16 going into overtime. The Packers led the time of possession in that one by over 13 minutes. The Bears only went 2 of 11 on third down, 2 of 3 on fourth down, and were 1 of 2 in the red zone. They also committed 10 penalties for 105 yards. The Packers went 6 of 12 on third down, 1 of 3 on fourth, and were 0 of 5 in the red zone. So if you combine the meetings, the Bears were 10 of 27 on third down, 2 of 5 on fourth, 3 of 6 in the red zone. The Packers were 14 of 24 on third down, 1 of 3 on fourth down, and 1 of 6 in the red zone. The Bears have an absolutely awful third down defense. I think the Packers are going to be able to control this game, get first downs when they need to. But I'm not going to admit that I think that they'll.
Oh my goodness. I thought you were going there, Ryan. Wow. You know what? Color me shocked. That's all that I'm going to say. I think that the books are right on with this one. This is going to be a very, very tight game. The only thing that I think might be a little bit skewed or exaggerated, I don't know what makes this total so high, especially considering what you had mentioned where both of the previous matchups, it was 0-0 going into the second quarter. I don't think that these two teams score a lot of points. I think there's certain playoff matchups that lend themselves to a lot of points and a lot of offense. This just isn't one of them. I mean, colloquially, like storyline-wise, you got the NFC North, you got these two rivals. They've already played twice. Both have played to under. I like under a lot in this one. And that's an interesting note about the Packers and their struggles in the red zone in the two matchups. That, I think, could come back to haunt them. Am I going to be the only one picking the Bears in this game?
I think you are.
Oh my
Matt's
goodness.
gonna hold it down, picking the Bears here. Matt, to your point, I mean, Chicago does score a lot of points. I look at that shootout they got in against the Niners, right? But they can give up a lot of points, so that kind of is why the total's higher. And since Micah Parsons went down, the Packers defense has definitely declined in the last 5 weeks or so. So I think that plays into it. But I'm with you. I mean, I like first half, 22.5. Sign me up for that, especially Ryan was just talking about that very last matchup, 0-0 after the first quarter. I'd love to see that again. I do think we see a tighter game here. Third time they're seeing each other. To your point, division opponents, they know each other well. But with all that Ryan just said, I don't have a difference. It's not a great play, but just the Packers losing that last game after they had it, right? And then Jordan Love going out early in that game. And so a lot of things had to go right, kind of like we were saying for the Packers, for the Bears to find a way to win that one. I don't see it happening 2 times in a row. So Ryan has a point, and then Matt, we want to hear your case for the Bears.
Well, I mean, yeah, Alex, you had just kind of talked about it. The Bears were lucky to win that last one. They needed the fumble by Malik Willis on 4th down to get the ball back, and then needed the onside kick recovery in order to get the game tied. And the first matchup, Green Bay, they both games came down to the last play of the game, and the Bears needed help in the last one in order to get it done. So I do think that the Packers are the right side here, and being able to get even money is worth it.
Well, and I think that this line is going to move as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see the favorite flip in this one, especially as the weekend gets closer and a lot of the public money comes in. I could very well see this one flipping and the Packers as 7-seed merchants since the new introduction becoming the favorites. Again, like I said, I think this one's close. Division foes going against each other for a third time this year. The Bears, actually, over the last couple of weeks, have really impressed me. They've already played some playoff style of games. Got to win, get into the fourth quarter and overtime. You need a drive or two. Caleb Williams has really impressed me with his turnaround from last year to this year and the way that he's progressed week to week this year. Partially for the storyline, partially for the lulls, as the kids say. Give me the Bears in this one.
I'll also reiterate some trends that I gave for the Rams and Panthers game. So revenge trend. Team suffering most recent loss in the regular season. Good for the Packers here. 16-9 straight up. Playoff experience at quarterback. Jordan Love having playoff experience. Caleb Williams not. The team with the quarterback experience is 39-20 against the spread the last 20 years. Good for the Packers there. Teams in playoff the year prior versus teams that missed the playoffs the year before. 33-16-1 against the spread. All 3 of those good for the Packers. The only 2 I was able to find for the Bears that are good for them. Teams that lose the regular season finale but get to host the playoff opener are 22-5 straight up since 2011. Granted, some of those matchups in week 18 or the final week of the regular season might be sitting guys because their playoff position's already locked up, but the Bears getting to host a playoff game regardless of whether they were the 2 or the 3, losing regular season finale, again, 22-5 straight up. And then facing a team that has lost 4 straight games heading into the playoffs and having to go on the road has only happened twice. And it is the Green Bay Packers that have lost 4 straight, having to go on the road now into Chicago, are 0-2. So the last 2 trends good for the Bears. Those first 3 good for the Packers, if you like to back the trends.
0-2, yeah. Packers kind of coming in limping in this one. But Jordan Love should be.
He will be
healthier than we have seen. So
I think a couple weeks off really hampers his rhythm, but only one way to find out, right?
Yep.
Solid points there. All right, let's go ahead and turn our attention to the Sunday matchups here. I wish that this was a later game. We've got the Buffalo Bills and the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags, one of the hottest teams in the league, and they are hosting a playoff game. The Bills trying to get over that hump, and a lot of guys, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, not in their way. But as I mentioned, Jacksonville comes into this one as one of the hottest teams in the league. They're catching a point at home here, Matt. Total 52. It is the highest total on the board. What do you like in this matchup?
Well, this one I could very much see going over. I think this is the one if I were to throw some shekels on an over right now in all 6 playoff games, this might be the one. 2 of the best offenses in the league. The Jaguars have been, I think, the single biggest surprise, right, league-wide in terms of dominance and, only losing 4 games all year. That's something to be said. I got trends, and I found one that was really interesting. The last 10 playoff underdogs that have more wins than their opponents, which matches up with this game. The Jaguars as dogs, more wins than the Bills. The last 10 times that's happened, they have gone 8-2 straight up, 9-1 against the spread. So that tells you that maybe the books don't necessarily have this one as the right favorite. I could possibly see this one flipping again, as the Jaguars may end up as a home favorite. The last 5 road favorites in the playoffs are 0-5 straight up at ATS with an average score of 32-14. So that trend does not bode well for the Bills. I could see the Jaguars winning this game, but I think with what's at stake and kind of where the Bills have set themselves up over the last couple of years, give me Buffalo in this one, and it could set up another matchup with New England later on.
Well, I'll piggyback off of that trend that you said of a regular season better record versus a team, a favorite with a worse record in the regular season. The Bills have not won a playoff game, regardless of being favored or underdogs, have not won a playoff game versus a team with a better record since 1981. They've lost 10 straight,
Whoa.
the second longest streak in NFL history. The only longer streak is the Dolphins, who have lost 14 straight, or did lose 14 straight of those games, losing a playoff game to a team with a better regular season record than them in the regular season. But looking at these two teams, specifically how they kind of scheme up, the Bills are the top rushing team in the National Football League at 100 and almost 60 yards per game. The Jacksonville Jaguars have the best rush defense in the National Football League. They're the only team that allows under 90 rushing yards per game. They sit at 85.6 rushing yards allowed per game. So it's going to be a battle of controlling the clock for the Bills offense. Will they be able to run the ball against this Jacksonville defense? But the Jacksonville defense is also very weak against 4 wide receiver sets and 3 tight end sets. So 13 personnel or 4 wide receiver sets. They also allow the 7th most yards per game to tight end receivers. So if the Bills want to abuse that 13 personnel, they're going to be able to do so on the run game, being able to go jumbo, or in the pass game, as the Jags are really weak against tight ends there. And then just to bring in the trends, the all-time is tied. This is the 21st meeting. It is tied 10-10. The Jags have won both meetings in the playoffs in this history. But I mentioned the Bills and the regular season. But teams in the playoff the year prior versus teams that were not in the playoffs the year prior, 33-16-1 against the spread. So that favors the Bills there. And then one that brings up the referee, the head referee in this game. Brad Allen will be the main caller, main zebra here in Buffalo and Jacksonville. The Bills have won 6 straight games with Brad Allen as the head referee. The Jags are below 500 with him. They are 6-8. Brad Allen has also been the head referee in 8 playoff games. Home teams, this would favor the Jags. Home teams are 7-1, except the one loss was the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2017 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Jaguars fans should not like Brad Allen in this game.
They're going to boo him regardless of who it is, right?
Right.
I've got a lot of the same notes here, Ryan, especially looking at the Jags defense, second in takeaways, second in interceptions, best run defense. We know that is the Bills' identity, run the ball with James Cook. I also think they can use him as a receiver out of the backfield too, though. But 19th, the Jags defense against tight ends. So I do think that they will be able to find some success. This is a very tough one to handicap. It's pretty much flipping a coin. The one thing I can't get past with the Jags, I don't want to take too much away from them because this winning streak has been really good. And there's 2 teams in there that are playoff teams, including the Broncos and the Chargers. And they went into Mile High and dominated that game against the Broncos. But besides that, second most snaps versus 30th or plus EPA or backup quarterback. So they've had it pretty easy here, where Cam Ward just got hurt in week 18, did not face him with the Titans. They had Phillip Rivers the week before, then it was Bo Nix. Brady Cook for the Jets. Daniel Jones got hurt early on when they played the Colts the first time, so they got to back up. Cam Ward the week before, Jacoby Brissett, Justin Herbert. That was a great win at home. And then Davis Mills with Houston, and not even CJ Stroud in that one. So they're the second most. I think they've had a pretty favorable schedule here to end the season to stack up all those wins, but they've been doing it pretty convincingly. So kind of goes which way do you want to look at that, right? But I think you both are going. I know Matt is. Brian, what was your official? I am going to go with the Bills to get it done here and to win. Actually, there's one more factor I forgot, you guys, and it's the kicker.
Uh-oh.
The Jaguars have the best or one of the best kickers, and Buffalo doesn't have a kicker right now. Both of them are injured, so that has to come into play as well when you've got a game that is going to be this tight.
If this game were in Buffalo, I think it'd be an even bigger deal. I think the fact that it's in Jacksonville this time of year with the weather the way that it is in Florida isn't going to be as big a deal. Kicking matters. I'm with you there. I think it would matter more if they were in upstate New York.
Well, you're going to be able to, or would you trust the quarterback or take the points with the kicker? And the Bills have no problem trusting their quarterback when it gets to fourth down conversation. So, I would, in that terms, I would trust Josh Allen more and being able to try and get points. But that also is a hindrance of if you don't get the fourth down, you give the ball back to Jacksonville, who can get at least 3 points as soon as they cross midfield or get to midfield there with Little. So
yeah, Cam Little has been fantastic.
I would I would like to take the Jags on the money line, thinking they'll be able to get it done. So no stamp of approval here in this one from Sports by the Book. But I do think it is an okay teaser leg, getting 7, or if you want to go higher on the teasers than just 6. But I do think the Jags will keep it close here in Duval.
I like that. I might have to jump in. Jags teased up with the Packers right now. Get them both at a touchdown. All right. Anything total-wise, Matt was leaning to the over. A little too high.
Yeah, if anything.
I cannot fault you, but just a little bit too high now. See what happens throughout the rest of the week. All right, keeping it moving here. Let's go to another NFC matchup. Thought we'd see this a little bit later on in the playoffs, but we've got the Niners and the Eagles because, of course, the Niners fell short to the Seahawks. Eagles are a 4.5-point favorite. That number is moving, Ryan. It's been all action on the defending champions here. Total 44.5. We need to wait and see. A lot of injury reports for both sides. I would definitely like to know if Trent Williams is going to be a go in this one. But where are you right now early on in the week, Ryan, with this one?
Yeah, Trent Williams is the most important name to the San Francisco 49ers offense and their ability to run the football. They were held to 53 rushing yards last week against the Seattle Seahawks defense. And I would say the Eagles defense, when they're fully healthy, are pretty much right there on par. And so looking at the ability to hold teams under 100 rushing yards as the 49ers were last week, Nick Sirianni's defense has held teams under 100 rushing yards 33 times since 2021. They are 30-3 in those games. They have won 18 consecutive games when allowing under 100 rushing yards. So stopping Christian McCaffrey is going to be the most important thing for this Eagles defense. And if Trent Williams does not play, it's going to be just a little bit easier. And kind of talking about the struggles that the Niners faced last week, it was the lowest point total that the Niners have had under Kyle Shanahan since his first game as the 49ers head coach, when they only scored 3 points. So kind of unfamiliar territory there with Kyle Shanahan and the struggles there this late into his tenure with the 49ers.
Yeah, this one's an interesting matchup. It's like, how much do you want to read into that game last week for the 49ers? Because that was abysmal. I watched every snap of that one from start to finish, and it was just gross. Now, the one thing going in their favor is that they do match that same trend. Playoff dogs that have more wins than their opponent. The 9-1 ATS, 8-2 straight up in the last 10 times that's occurred. So they do have that going for them. That being said, I just don't know if I could put my money on that San Francisco team after watching what they did, or I guess didn't do, against the one seed in the NFC in Seattle last week. They looked abysmal at times. They really, really struggled. While the Eagles, who were resting guys, did dominate against the Washington team. I like the Eagles here at home, especially with the line movement, the way that it's gone. I just don't think that you can back the 49ers with what we've seen recently. And then your trend there with the rushing yards, literally that's your game plan. Shut down McCaffrey and make Brock Purdy beat you. I don't think he's capable of beating this Eagles defense at this point. I think it's a low-scoring game, and I like the Eagles to win and cover. I think they win by 5.
Matt, very good point about because the Eagles defense has just gotten better and better throughout this season, kind of like we were accustomed to seeing last year. But the Eagles offense still has issues. And looking at the best teams they played, any teams with a 500 or better record, they scored 13 points against the Bills, 19 against the Chargers, 15 against the Bears in that loss, 16 against the Lions, 10 against Green Bay, and 17 against the Broncos. So we've seen bits and glimpses from their offense, but not really against the best teams. The Niners defense has a lot of problems. I'm not saying they don't, but I'm going to wait and see how many points we can get here. And that's probably a common theme for me this weekend. But I like this dog as well to at least hang in there. I think it could be a field goal game. Not sure who ultimately gets the win here, but I can't confidently lay points with the Eagles right now. So taking points with the Niners.
It may be a weight on taking the points with the Niners, but it has not been a weight on the total. Open 46, now down to 44.5. And we're talking about the Eagles not being able to put up points in those games, and kind of thinking that the Eagles would be able to shut down the 49ers offense. Would be a definite look to the under. But 44.5 now is where we sit. To bring in the all-time and some trends there, the Niners lead all-time 21, 15, and 1. It is tied 1-1 in the playoffs, though. But historically, the road team has had more success in these games. I say that because the Eagles haven't been good at home, and they've won more games on the road. But even still, the Niners are better. So the Niners are 12, 6, and 1 in Philadelphia, meaning that it is 9-9 when we're in San Francisco. But that is still better for the Eagles when they are in San Francisco. And then tying in some actual trends specific. Or games that I have mentioned, or ones that I have mentioned in games prior. The teams that were in the playoffs the year before, but versus a team that was not, 33, 16, and 1 against the spread. That favors the Eagles here. And then the 2025 49ers versus teams that average fewer points per game going into that matchup. The Niners are 6-0 straight up, 5-1 against the spread, and cover by 10.2 points per game. So thinking this one will be close. It might be good to take the tease with the Niners, thinking that these offenses will struggle equally.
And I would say if you're going to bet the Eagles, bet them now. If this one keeps going the way it's going to go, this one's going to get over 6.
Well, yeah, we're good. I don't know if we sit at that dead number of 5. We'll more than likely get to the 6 if we get past the 4.5.
Open 3.5, laid the 3.5, laid the 4, and now we're sitting here 4.5 with the Eagles. A lot of people, kind of like Matt, thinking they rested their starters in week 18. It worked out for them last year. We'll see if it can work out for them again this year. Should be an interesting, good matchup there. Hopefully everybody's pretty healthy so we can get a full strength between those two. Okay, let's go to the Sunday night finale game here, AFC. I know Matt's excited to talk about this one. The Chargers traveling to the East Coast to take on the Patriots. The Patriots 2 seed here in the AFC, and they are a 4-point favorite now here at the South Point. Looks like bettors like the favorite in this one as well, Matt. Total 46. How you feeling going into this weekend?
As far as the numbers concerned, I think this could be another one where once it gets off of 4, it could jump to 6 real quick. So this is going to be one where if you're going to take the favorite, take them soon. If New England does get up to 6, that's my tease leg right there, taking them down to a pick 'em. So my trend for this one, aside from my heart, aside from my feelings about my favorite team, this year the Patriots have had 12 games where their opponent averages fewer points per game than them. In those 12 games, they have won all 12 straight up. They have gone 10-2 ATS, covering by an average of 13 points per game, and they've gone 9-3 to the over. So that sets up well for them to dominate in this game. And I think that the Chargers with a little bit of rest, maybe their momentum's kind of slowed down, and the Patriots, I think that they are as hot as any team. They had to win and get some help for the 1 seed. They didn't get the help they needed. I think Vrabel, in terms of the motivation, is going to have this team ready to go. I think the Patriots, who put up the second most points per game in the league and were one of the best defenses top to bottom, I think they dominate. The Chargers also, another note that I found is in terms of blocking, both run and pass, have been absolutely the worst in football. They are the single worst run blocking unit in the league, and they are the 31st best, second worst pass block unit in the league. And it makes you wonder, how do they win games? Well, the answer is Harbaugh. That's how they win games. I don't think that's enough come playoff time. I think Vrabel wins the motivation battle. I think Drake May wins the quarterback battle. And the Patriots, with the way that they finished up the regular season, I think they've got a ton of momentum, and I think they roll in this matchup at home.
And just to second Matt's point of the Patriots this year and what they've done against teams that have scored less points per game than they have. You mentioned the 12-0 straight up, the 10-2 against the spread, and the 9-3 on the totals. But the totals average of 48.2 points per game, which would get over this total of 46. So would still be good up to 46.5, probably pushing on that 48 if we land on the law of averages. But talking about all-time and trends here in this one, all-time the Patriots lead 27, 17, and 2. The Patriots have won 3 of the 4 meetings in the playoffs. But if the Chargers can pull off the upset here, it would match it would be their longest win streak since they won 4 straight in the 60s, 1968 to 1970. So it's been a long time that the Chargers have been able to consistently beat the Patriots. But I'm with Matt here. I think Mike Vrabel is going to be able to do enough against this battered Chargers team, be able to control the clock with Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson, and not necessarily put Drake May in the position to have to turn the ball over and push the field with by throwing the ball. So I do think they'll end up trusting their running backs and get through this Chargers defense. Not necessarily at will, but they will do so in this game.
I'm going to be the only one on the other side.
Get a lead, I was going to say I think if the Patriots get a lead, they're going to run. It's going to be boring. That's kind of where they've made their money so far this year.
Have been very good, running the 7th most in the league, and you like to back those teams that are well balanced. That is the problem with the Chargers here, and passing the 12th most. That's not really what Harbaugh wants to do. I'm still going to take a shot here with the points. There's nobody who needed that Week 18 bye by resting their starters more than the Chargers did, right? Because they have been so beat up. But Ryan, can you give me the trend with teams that were in the playoffs the year before against teams that were not?
33, 16, and 1 are the teams that were in the playoffs versus teams that were out of the playoffs. So that would favor the Chargers here in this one.
That's kind of where I'm going to hang my hat. This is one of my favorite duos here with Harbaugh and Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's having an outstanding year, and I can't get that game out of my head last year with the Chargers. Kind of the trendy team, right? It picked a lot, and Houston embarrassed them in the playoffs. I think that they're going to give it their all and can keep it close at the very least here in this one. So I'm going to wait and see the best number I can get. No money line, just taking the points here with the underdogs to at least keep these games competitive. But to your point, if it gets out of hand, Patriots, I think you'll know pretty early if they can actually run away with this.
2 more trends here. One that favors the Chargers, another one that favors the Chargers, and one that favors the Patriots are ones that I have mentioned in previous games that we've talked about for this wildcard weekend. But playoff experience quarterbacks, that would be Justin Herbert versus a quarterback that does not have any playoff experience. That'd be Drake May. The quarterback with the playoff experience is 39-20 against the spread in the last 20 seasons. So another one to favors the Chargers with that playoff prior versus teams not in the playoffs. But the other one is dome teams having to play outdoors in the postseason. So the Chargers playing in SoFi Stadium, now having to go up to Foxborough and play in Gillette. 21-30 against the spread are the dome teams against the teams that are normally outdoors. So 30-21 are the home teams, the outdoor teams against the dome teams. So favoring the Patriots there with that one.
That's right. The only other little nugget I'll just say, and again, just like the Jags, don't want to take away from the outstanding years that they have had, but No team has played backup quarterbacks or quarterbacks that are 30th or worst EPA, according to Pro Football Focus. No team has played more than New England. So we'll see how they do. Last time we saw them up against a good quarterback, I mean, it was a great game against the Bills and Josh Allen. Don't know if the Chargers can do that, but we'll find out. And their defense has been getting a lot better throughout the season. That's another reason why I do like that side. All right, last but not least, let's wrap it up here with the AFC Monday night showdown between the Houston Texans and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers, of course, ended up winning their division. They will host this game against the Texans, and they're catching 3.5. Matt, I'll start with you. You know this Pittsburgh team pretty well. You know Tomlin, have been following this team. Catching 3.5 at home on a Monday night against the Texans. What are you thinking?
I mean, historically, that's when you fire on Mike Tomlin, right? As a home dog in a playoff game and a team that they're, supposedly evenly matched against. I don't know. My question in this one is has Aaron Rodgers' voodoo witch magic ran out? Did he use up all of it to win the division in that last game? Because that was legitimately one of the craziest games that I've ever watched in my life, especially that fourth quarter and the sequence in the back and forth. You wonder when the buck's going to stop, so to speak, for Aaron Rodgers and these crazy wins and, his ayahuasca journey that he's thinking about in the offseason. I just think that this is too much for the Steelers. The Texans are the single best defense in football. Big difference between the Texans and the Ravens on that side of the ball, just week to week for the Steelers. And again, I think this one's more, I don't know if it sounds weird to say a fade of Aaron Rodgers at this point, but I'm serious. I'm serious about the voodoo witch magic of potentially running out last week because he used up all of it to win that game and win the division. I think the Texans are a better team, better defense. I think a better schematic coach, which is saying something in this game. I like the Texans because this has been the year of destiny for them, and they've got an opportunity to really show that. And if they win this game, they guarantee themselves a date with the Broncos, who I think they match up very well against. So look forward to if the Texans can beat the Steelers. I think that they cruise all the way to the AFC Championship game.
Well, you're looking at those exactas thanks to Drew Dog. But yeah, the Texans to get through the AFC to ultimately end up defeating the Broncos if they get to that scenario would get to defeat the Seahawks in the Super Bowl 25-1, to defeat the Rams 35-1, defeat the Eagles 50, and everyone else you're getting triple digits on the Texans to win the Super Bowl here at the South Point. But looking at my notes for this game, we'll bring up the trends first. The dome to outdoor teams. The dome team being the Houston Texans and the outdoor team being the Pittsburgh Steelers. 21 and 30 against the spread are the dome going into the outdoor experience, or 30 to 21 against the spread are the outdoor teams getting to host there. And then this is the first time we will not see the Houston Texans in that first game of the playoff window. We are actually getting them as the final game in the first round, the wild card round of the NFL playoffs. But the Texans are 6-2 straight up at home in the postseason. They are 0-6 on the road. So both of those trends favor the Steelers here in this one. But it looks like the market has trusted or is trusting the Texans. As we opened at 3, have now moved to 3.5. We've toggled a couple times of a lay at 3, a take on the 3.5. So people are more trusting the Texans will get it done, being able to lay the 3. And then kind of looking at all time, will be the 9th meeting all time, first of which in the playoffs between the Steelers and Texans. But the Steelers lead 5-3. The Texans won the most recent game, but they have not won consecutive games ever in this meeting between these two teams. They also have not won in Pittsburgh since the first meeting ever between these two teams back in 2002. So not only are the Texans attempting to beat all of those trends, but they are attempting to win their 10th consecutive game this season, which would be the longest winning streak in franchise history. So all of which pointing to the Texans looking to do some for the first time in their franchise's history. But I would be going there with that defense, being able to do it against, Nat talked about the voodoo magic with Aaron Rodgers, and just the holy magic with the Steelers field there at Acrisure last week. But yeah, it is a play here for the Texans.
I'm going with defense
travels.
too.
Defense travels. Defense travels. That's my main thing in this game.
Well, that's why I like the under. I know it's a very low total here at 39.5. First half it's 19.5, but I mean, Matt brought up a great
Ooh-wee.
point. Baltimore's defense is not even close to this Houston Texans defense. Not very good pass rush, and now they're going to have this front four, right? So they're going to struggle, and we saw what happened in that first half against the Ravens. So I'm going with the under, which kind of leads me to points here because I think it's going to be a low-scoring, ugly game between these two. Still don't trust the Texans offense just yet, but we'll see if they can put it together here throughout the playoffs. All right. Before we let Matt get out of here and get back to prepping, anything else on NFL before we get his college basketball play from either of you two?
That's about all I got on the NFL. I think a lot of these road teams have a shot, and I think a lot of these dome teams going to some outdoor venues have an opportunity as well.
Okay. And Matt, I was looking at the Syracuse game as well against Georgia Tech here today. Is that where you're sticking for the hardwood play?
That is where I'm sticking. I gotta throw a random one out there. Georgia Tech last night was a 3-point home dog, so I scooped it up very quickly. The big thing for me is Georgia Tech's defense versus Syracuse's struggling offense as of late. You take a look at these two teams. Syracuse, in terms of 3-point percentage, they are 305th in the country out of 365 teams. Defensively, Georgia Tech gives up the 11th worst 3-point percentage in the country. They are a great defensive team all the way around. Syracuse is doing this while Georgia Tech is doing this. Give me the Yellow Jackets at home as a short dog in a conference game. Those are some of my absolute favorite spots in college basketball. You get a short conference home dog. I love it, and I love the Yellow Jackets, especially because that line has not moved too much on the overnight.
I love it too. I was actually looking that way or over and then diving into it. I'm like, no, I'm not going to go over there with Georgia Tech's defense. So to your point, is the way I was looking for that matchup. What do you think of this one before we let you go? I'm looking at Duke and Louisville tonight, and I'm actually looking at Louisville at home here. Duke beat Louisville twice last year at their place, 76-65. And then in the ACC tournament, I love that kind of revenge when that's going to be on their mind. And this Louisville team is a lot better than last year. So any thoughts on this one? Duke and Louisville at a pick 'em.
Well, you bring up their place. Are you talking about the vaunted KFC Yum Center, the best name in college sports? I love that name, by the way. This one's tight, and I like you said, Duke, ran the Cardinals out of the gym twice last year. This one last year would not have been a pick 'em. I think this is going to
No.
be the toughest matchup of the year for Duke in the conference play, which is saying something. I like the Blue Devils as much as it pains me. I like John Shire to be able to go on the road, although I think Louisville really is going to surprise some people and have some big upsets throughout the year. I just don't think that that's tonight. So give me the Blue Devils, but I would love to see this matchup again here in a couple of months in the conference tournament.
We're going to get some tempo in this, though, right? As the numbers actually moving
Definitely.
down, but I thought this was an over. Okay, last one. I'm sorry. South Carolina catching 7.5. I believe they're still catching 7.5. But at LSU, Deon Thomas is going to miss his second straight game. They lost against Texas A&M with him out, and LSU has really improved since getting Deon Thomas and a few others, but since last year especially. But South Carolina catching 8 now on the road. Could I interest you in that one?
You could interest me in the Gamecocks. I think that's a big number. Deon Thomas has been the straw that stirs the drink so far for the Tigers as a true old school point guard. I think LSU wins the game, but I don't know if they blow out South Carolina. So I like the Gamecocks with the points. This total, I think about right. I could see it going just over, but I could also see it very much just the same going way, way, way under. I think a low-scoring game in general lends itself to South Carolina covering the 8, so give me the Gamecocks.
Yeah, and not great three-point shooting team, but really good from 2. So we'll see if they can do enough here in this one, but kind of leads more to an under, like you're saying. Hopefully they can cover. I am going to bet that one here with Deon Thomas being out. Ryan, anything else for Matt before we let him get back to work for the day?
Just go Rebels. Make sure you get us the win tonight.
Go Rebels tonight. 7 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Mountain Time tip-off against Wyoming. We'll take the air on ESPN Las Vegas and the Varsity Network app at 6:30 Vegas time for Run a Rebel warm-up.
Coming off a dominant win over Air Force, so feeling good coming into this one. hopefully they can get it done. Matt, we appreciate you so much. Have a great week. Good luck this weekend with all your wild card weekend bets.
Awesome, guys. Happy to help. Go Rebs.
We'll see you next Tuesday. All right, let's take a quick break. Do we need a break, Ryan, or you want to run through our best bets?
We can go through best bets. I mean, I still need to finish up the whiteboard, but
let's take a quick break. We'll get everything together so we can get our best bet boards ready to go. Kind of run through those and get you all out of here. Thank you so much for joining us if you are watching us live. And in case I forget to say it later, look out for a special coming up sometime this evening. It will be covering both of our semifinal games, the Peach Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl. So look out for that special. We're going to record that after this live show today. We'll be right back, though, for our best bets, so don't go anywhere.
Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement.
Thanks for hanging out with us all day on this Tuesday. This is Sports by the Book, live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. I'm Alex White alongside Ryan McCormick. Ryan, I can't believe it. I don't have one hockey pick today, but I do have college basketball. The poll has a hockey pick. If you want to take a shot there, they picked one dog that they think can stop their losing streak, and it was a shocking one.
yeah. So we gave you guys 3 road underdogs ending their losing streaks today in the NHL. You turn Tuesday. Which NHL team can turn their losing streak around on the road today? So we gave you the Ducks plus 125 in Philadelphia against the Flyers. Ducks losers of 6 straight. The Canucks losers of 3 straight on the road, getting plus 150 in Buffalo against the Sabres. And the Stars losers of 5 straight, getting plus 115 in Carolina against the Hurricanes. And 41% of our viewers are going with the Ducks being able to end their 6-game losing streak. Some wishful thinking there. Ending their 6-game losing streak there in Philadelphia against the Flyers.
What about you? You want to start us off with your best bets? Are you sticking with the ice tonight?
I do have 2 on the ice. I have 1 on the hardwood, and I have 1 look ahead to NFL Wildcard Weekend, but we'll get to talk about it on Monday as well. Taking the shortest price you'll get on the Avalanche on the money line, minus 115 here at the South Point. I will be laying the puck line with those Flyers, thinking that the Ducks will get a 7th straight loss there in Philadelphia tonight, getting plus 175 there. And then the Dookies, I will be taking the opposite side of Alex on the Louisville Cardinal, taking the Duke Blue Devils, sets up for a home revenge spot in less than a month. These 2 teams play twice in the month of January, but the one in Cameron will be January 26th, but taking the Duke Blue Devils tonight. And then the Texans, lay in the 3 in Pittsburgh. That is a shop around price. There are 3 still available in the market. We have bounced several times from 3 to 3.5, so might get the 3 here again at the South Point, as it's been a toggler so far. But laying the Texans minus the 3 there in Pittsburgh.
Very good. That game is going to be so good between Louisville and Duke. We both, instead of going two-way action, we should probably be going with the over. Both of them really push the pace on the offensive side. So I think we're going to see a lot of points there between those two. But we'll see. I guess that can kind of set us up because, like you said, they're playing again in a month. But, I mean, Louisville 15th in offensive tempo, 70th overall. But they have gotten a lot better. I think if they've got a shot, it is today. So I'm keeping it on the board. I'm going with that one. The other big matchup that I'm excited about is Texas Tech and Houston. I'm going to take the points here with Texas Tech. Home revenge from last year. Kelvin Sampson's team beat them 69-61. And then remember, Tech kind of turned it around and went on that nice run in March Madness. But I think they'll be ready for this one. Houston is undefeated at home so far in this short season. But a couple other dogs here. South Carolina, we just talked about that one. LSU missing one of their major guys, their point guard. And then UCF, I'm taking the 4 points here. These two split last year, home and home, Oklahoma State quick tempo, but UCF can match it, and they are a great perimeter shooting team. So I think they're going to push the pace, and I think that they've got a shot to be in this one, taking the 4 points there. I did find one hockey, honestly, because I like the under for Boston and Kraken, but I'm going to stay away because I don't think it's going to be Jeremy Swayman. I liked over 5.5 for the Knights and Jets. Maybe we can get a better in-game if it's 0-0 after the first period. But I'm going to take a shot with the Sharks at home here against Columbus. So that is my dog of the day. They're on a 5-game over streak. They're scoring. Just can't stop much. We'll see if they can outscore the Blue Jackets tonight.
All right, we did have today's ticker trivia was a hockey question for you guys today. Ticker trivia presented by City Light Shine, available at Total Wine, Lee's Discount Liquor, and here at the South Point Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. Again, hockey question for you guys today. The Philadelphia Flyers established an NHL undefeated streak record of 35 games, which included 10 ties, with a 4-2 win against the Buffalo Sabres January 6th back in 1980. The question was, while this undefeated record still stands today, what is the current longest win streak only in NHL history? And we did have JR with the correct answer in today's ticker trivia presented by City Light Shine. Was the fellow Pennsylvania-based NHL team with the Flyers. The Pittsburgh Penguins hold the record for the longest NHL win streak at 17 games, set back in 1992 and 1993 season. The Penguins also hold the NHL record for the longest playoff win streak at 14 games, which spanned 2 different playoff seasons and included the team's second Stanley Cup win in that 1992 season. So, ticker trivia, your answer was Pittsburgh Penguins 17-game win streak there, presented by City Light Shine.
JR, was the correct answer there. I love that Joey B is making odds for us again. I'm just catching up on all of that. But, okay, I think that's it for us. Did I miss anything else in the chat?
No, it was a very active chat. Joey B was setting lines and admiring Matt's hair, or not so much, but asking if I'll grow a playoff beard for my Bears. I don't think I'm allowed to grow a playoff beard genetically and property, but yeah.
That is true. He's not lying. It is a property rule. So, okay. Thank you, everybody, for watching us live. Thank you if you are catching the replay. Please just double check and make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. We really appreciate it. And that we is myself and Ryan and the crew and Jerry, Sean, Vince, and Andrew. 5 days a week, you can find us giving out our best bets, breaking down these games, really doing our homework, trying to set you guys up for success here. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m., as always, Pacific time. And then Friday, we will have a 2-hour around there, maybe a little shorter now. A special, though, Football Frenzy starts at noon Pacific time. So that's it for us for today. Best of luck to all your plays. Ryan, let's try and go undefeated on the ice, on the hardwood. And we'll continue to look at these wildcard games and give out our best bets. But that's it for us for today. For Ryan McCormick, I'm Alex White. Thanks for watching. This has been Sports by the Book.